Well, hey everyone, welcome to Ludicrous Feed live on a Friday night. Who would have thought? Streaming on a Friday night. Yes, obviously, for those who follow the channel, you'll know that we streamed last night in the Gold Coast for the launch of the BYD Dolphin. So that was quite exciting if you managed to catch our live stream. Yeah, so that was quite a good night from everyone, myself included. Joy was there, my wife, and obviously our good friend Riz was there as well, which we might welcome on the stream right now. Hello, Riz. Good to see you.
Hey Tom, good to be here. Thanks everyone for joining us.
Yeah. How was your flight back?
Yeah, pretty good. I didn't realize, it's pretty hectic in the airports at the moment. So even on the Gold Coast, there were queues of families and kids trying to get out of Gold Coast, and I'm usually trying to get out of Melbourne.
I wouldn't want to leave the Gold Coast if I could help it. It's a great place. And what a great night, huh? Last night.
Oh,
I
it's
want to thank.
pretty cool.
Sorry. Yeah. No, I want to thank everyone on the stream who joined us last night too. It was great to have you on and keeping us entertained. Hopefully, we kept you entertained as well. But there is one man I do want to thank, and that is, of course, our very good friend Rahul Prasad, who joins us. Rahul, I just want to say publicly, thank you so much for manning the fort back home and keeping us sane back in Melbourne while we had fun in the Gold Coast.
Hey, you know what? I hope you guys can hear me.
Yep, we definitely can.
Yeah, look, while you guys were having fun in the Gold Coast, don't you worry, Tom and Riz, we were having an absolute ball here in the YouTube live stream. Yeah, the audience was off the charts last night. You know, the engagement, having people there, and they were excited. And thank you for doing such an amazing job with the live stream. Yeah, you felt like you were right in there sharing that reveal. So yeah, that was great fun. Glad I was part of it. Thank you.
No, thank you, Rahul. And look, yeah, Riz, myself, Joy, we had a great time. And I'm glad it came across that way. That was the whole point of the stream, to try and, emulate the experience for you. And, as you saw, it was quite a long walk from the entrance of SeaWorld all the way to the back to Dolphin Cove. And yeah, we saw the Dolphins perform for us, and then we saw the car perform for us, and we saw Luke Todd perform for us. Well, Luke announced the new performance, or the sport hot hatch of the Dolphin, which Riz wrote the article for the Driven today. Riz, take it away.
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise. I sort of look at this space and it's wide open. There's only Cupra Born in that sort of territory, which is sort of a sportier hatch that we have at the moment. So with the Dolphin having a variant, not sure what they're going to do to the motor itself compared to the premium model, which has the 150 kilowatt motor, which I think is the same as the Atto 3, but obviously in a smaller car. There is on BYD Automotive's website something about, I think, a sport tune. So I wonder what they're going to do to that. Hopefully, not add fake exhaust notes to it, like the Fiat 500e has the, I think it's the Abarth Scorpirisma. I can't even say that properly. That has the fake exhaust notes on it. So we'll see when it lands. But apparently, only 1,000 of them, and starting deliveries next year.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, only 1,000. I think drive away price I looked up today, it's like 51,000. So very similar to the Atto 3 extended range. Yeah, look, there's no sort of finite specs at the moment. It's just sort of performance type things, like you said, Riz, performance suspension, performance, less than 7 seconds for the 0 to 100. So yeah, it could be a nice one to test, and obviously put up against the Cooper Born. Yeah, possibly even the MG, 4 as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
it could possibly be the case as well. And this week, MG's got a performance variant that's also launched in the UK, which we may touch on later on. But yeah, the BYD Dolphin, I think it's going to be a pretty well-selling car, particularly in states like Queensland. It's like 30 to 890 plus the registration cost.
Yeah, that's an insane price. Rahul, what did you think of the car watching back home? Impressed by the launch and the specs and the price?
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Yeah, amazing event. I mean, I think BYD have just raised the bar on how to run events here in Australia. Yeah, amazing launch. The car looked spectacular. Obviously, Having Luke Todd there, the mayor of Gold Coast there, having press there, having people there as well at SeaWorld, which is one of the main attractions. Amazing venue. The fact that the car is priced at, and I mean talking about an EV at 38,890, but just beating another competitor. I won't take the name. I'll let you guys reveal that, but pricing it just under $100 within 2 days of the other brand launching is fantastic competition in Australia for that EV market. And I thought the car looked amazing. It'll definitely sell for that price point.
You're on mute, Tom.
Thanks, Riz. I've been guilty, too much fun on the Gold Coast, clearly. But I've been guilty of calling this a price war between the MG brand and the BYD brand. Is $100 a price war, gents? What price difference do we, or what percentage difference do we need to justify calling it a price war, Riz?
Look, I'd call something a price war. I know it's written there. Full disclosure, I didn't include that in there. It was edited that way. But there is, I think when we think about a price war, a lot of sort of pricing situations occurred in China earlier this year. And Tesla was cutting prices by like 3,000 to 6,000 Australian dollars, equivalent of those off their prices last year. And that really put the Chinese automotive companies at a bit of a interesting spot because they couldn't cut the prices because they didn't have the margins. So 3 to 6 grand, I think, is probably more like it. $100 is not necessarily a price war, but I think it's good to see. Hopefully, it does push some other automakers to bring in some more affordable options. But apart from the Chinese OEMs, I can't see anyone else that can bring cars for that sort of price point. When you look at Hyundai, Kia, they're generally launching cars that are over 60,000 easily. So like the new Kona Electric or the e-Niro, there's nothing in the market that will sort of come to that sort of price point. So wouldn't call it a price war, but I think it's good to see finally EVs here under $40,000.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, just a week or two ago, we weren't sure whether either car would reach under 40K. So the fact that they are under 40K, I think is a victory for us. As you said, Riz, they're much cheaper than the Korean brands, Kia, Hyundai, and the European brands in Cupra. So I think this is a great victory for consumers when it comes to EVs. I just want to thank everyone who watched last night and everyone who's joined us tonight as well. I see a few members on. Hello, Gaffer. Nice to see you there as always. And also, thanks for joining us, everyone. And I've got Brandon Smart there. Brandon said, "Hey, Tom, met you at the BYD launch whilst you were live. Do you think the Dolphin and the MG4 might push other car makers to bring in cheaper EVs as well?" Yep, I guess we kind of answered that. Yes, I think they will for sure. We see that it is possible. Look, I don't know whether these prices are sustainable. Like as we saw with other price wars in the airline industry, prices do go down and then eventually they do go back up again to correct themselves. But for now, let's enjoy these prices as they come. And Gaffer says this price war is between two cars and other currently for sale. That's true. The war is with the rest to join that price point in the market. Well said, Gaffer. Absolutely. Yeah. It's almost like these two are on the same side and everyone else is they're gonna come to the fight. And yep, Tassie Thylacine saying yes. And now that Queensland has increased subsidy to $6,000 too. Yep.
So what we can do on the back of this is we'll give it a couple of months when these cars finally start to land. We will try and track sales in Queensland versus Victoria specifically, because one that has one of the best subsidies and the other state that apparently, anyway, heard again today that the road tax is increasing again. So that's another story. But I think it'll be good to see the comparison between the two. So a state where you can get the car for around 33,890, I think, with the registration, versus another state where it's more likely to be around $41,000 for the same car.
Yep. Having that data, Riz, will be really good to show that, yes, subsidies do work. So looking forward to that in 3 to 6 months' time. Good segue there, Riz. Let's look at this article here. Victoria's electric car road user charges to increase from 1 July, and it's going up by, let's see, 2.6 cents to 2.8 cents per kilometer. Rahul, as a Victorian EV driver, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, look, I have literally. You feel like these articles obviously are giving us the information, but you cannot get this information from somebody at the government level to find out what is going on, why. And I understand that electricity prices are going up in Victoria. I think from the next financial year, which will be from 1st of July, by about 25% or so. So yeah, I understand that these prices are going up, but the fact that you're not getting this information from the government itself or from the Minister for Transport, who, by the way, Riz, we've got no idea who the Minister for Transport is in Victoria. You and I need to
No.
research that and probably go and pick at Parliament House, like a lot of these protesters do on the weekends. But yeah, I think for zero emission vehicles, for EVs, that's about a 10% increase. For hybrid vehicles, PHEVs, that's about, I think, a 15% increase in that levy. So it's not a good look for Victoria currently, considering that you've got two car manufacturers out there offering cars under 40k, which, by the way, just personally speaking, I think I've mentioned this on the stream before. I would not have expected to have two cars, EVs, under 40k in Australia this year. So I stand corrected.
Yeah, well said, Rahul. I think we ran a poll too last week. Well, I ran it on a few of my social media channels, and there was a lot of doubt. I think I kind of expected everyone to go under 40k, but a lot of people actually saying over 42k. So the fact that both manufacturers have dipped below 40 is a great win.
And just on that, I think, Rahul, you touched on a very good point earlier. Who is the transport minister down here? But the other thing is, this particular car was launched, I think it's Thursday morning. Well, what's today? Friday, yeah. So it was launched yesterday. It's time's flying. Yesterday morning in Queensland by the Queensland Transport Minister. So he was at the press conference. He made the announcement that Queensland will have the best subsidies. And in the last 12 months, I've actually seen him at a couple of different press conferences in front of EV chargers at Eagle Farm in Brisbane, talking about we've achieved, 15,000 EVs in the state. So they're bringing Queenslanders and residents along the journey of electrification by rolling out the Queensland Electric Superhighway network and just investing so much in making the transport system cleaner. Whereas here, getting rid of the subsidies, it's brushed under the carpet. Nobody knows about it until someone picks it up. Same with the increase in subsidies. So it'd be interesting to see, but hopefully the federal government can align all transport ministers so we can, have sort of an even keel.
Yeah, no, great point, Riz. As you saw last night, the mayor of the Gold Coast was very excited to announce, the BYD launch. So they're all in on it on Queensland. Hopefully Victoria will, come up to the party soon. But yeah, it doesn't quite look like it at this stage with the hike in the EV tax, unfortunately. Staying with BYD just for a second, but actually one more comment from Tassie Thylacine. Yes, for Victorian road tax, you have to pay even if you leave the state. So yeah, that's unusual, I must say. Watching from an outsider's point of view. Sorry, gents. Let's have a look at this article as well from Riz. Riz has been busy this week. So yeah, not just one seal, but two seals spotted in, I think this is, where is this, Horsham?
It was in Horsham, I think,
Yep.
Victoria. It was posted on one of the electric vehicles groups by a gentleman named Richard Allen. And yeah, two of them. And it's the first time that I've seen that white seal there. And it seems to be not the top of the range, which is the blue one that we've seen around with those really cool looking wheels that it's got. These seem more conventional. Maybe it's the base model rear wheel drive with a 60 kilowatt battery or something like that.
Yeah, baby seal.
Yeah.
That's the performance seal, as you were saying.
Yeah.
There's different wheels. Yeah, I mean, any bets on where we will see the seal being launched? Guys who watched my stream, you saw me pan in on the seal area at SeaWorld. Are we going back to the Gold Coast? Are we going to Taronga Zoo? I mean, where are they going to launch the seal?
Well, given all the ministers and the mayors and everybody wants to get involved in Queensland, I reckon they'll probably handing them out, one to the transport minister, one to the mayor of the Gold Coast, and one probably to the CEO of SeaWorld. So I think it's probably more than likely going to happen there.
Yeah. And I do want to thank publicly BYD Automotive as well, EV Direct. They really know how to host a party. It was a really good night. You know, the food was catered for. We didn't have to pay for the food. Yeah, they really looked after us. So very thankful. Apologies for my voice. This happens when I fly, unfortunately. The air conditioning from the plane, but I'll try my best. So if I keep muting to cough, you'll know why.
I was going to quickly jump in there, Tom, and say, yeah, I think with that EV rebate currently in Queensland being 6K, no brainer. If they're going to launch the seal, and considering I'm just watching your live stream, not there in person, but still the experience that I got last night from that launch was wow. That was, I haven't seen a launch like that. And, we've seen Polestar launch their cars here in Australia, but kind of more on a understated, sort of muted level, in keeping with that sort of brand. But yeah, BYD I feel like with that 6K rebate in Queensland, it'd be a no-brainer for them to launch Seal in Queensland as well, when it does.
Yeah, that's right. Josh is asking, when would the release date of the Seal be appropriately? Yeah, you don't want to cut into the Dolphins, party. So yeah, hopefully maybe end of 2023. We shall see. No, I didn't stay up too late last night, Tassie, but yeah, it was a great night. It was a lot of fun. Let's segue into this story here. This is from Daniel Bleakley from The Driven. Staying on the topic of how subsidies can help ACT EV fleet to double every year, well, doubling every year as market share hits 20% for second month in a row. Like, that's absolutely phenomenal. 20% of new EV sales are EVs now in the ACT, and thanks to their good subsidies too.
I think that's where you really start to see things working, and I think the long-term picture is all of these new electric vehicles will end up on the used market more affordably for people that may not be able to purchase a new car. And I think that's the long-term game. We want to encourage purchase of new vehicles. It may be subsidized, but it makes it more accessible for people that are looking at maybe not today, in a couple of years' time. Whereas if we restrict the supply now by getting rid of the subsidies, we may not see the impact straight away, but in a couple of years' time, there'll be more better quality used EVs in other states than here in Victoria. So ACT is a good example.
And Oscreamer just reminded me, there's actually no subsidies in the ACT, just free registration. I apologize, but yeah, there you go.
Right.
I thought there were more, but it is kind of a subsidy, I guess. New South Wales is $500 registration. So if you own a car for like 5 years, that's $2,500 if you've got free rego. So yeah, I'm not sure how much it is to register an EV in the ACT, but still, free rego is good if you've owned an EV for a long time.
Well, give or take, I think it's in most states it's around $800 to $1,000 for a normal vehicle, like an ICE car. So that's still a good amount. I know in Victoria they say we give you $100 off if you drive an EV, but we'll probably charge you $400 a year for driving one.
That's the difference between the MG4 and the Dolphin, isn't it? $100. Yeah. How generous.
$100.
Let's switch over to this quick little story here. I want to say, where am I? I've lost my screen. Sorry.
You're on Elliot's tweet.
Oh yeah, okay. Yes, our good friend Elliot, who sometimes comes on our stream, he took delivery of his new car. It looks like. Riz, what is this car?
I think it's the Neo. Oh, we spoke about it about 6 months ago. It's their Sportback or estate car. I think the station wagon. That's the one that I'm thinking of. I think it's Neo ET6.
Yeah, it could be
ET7.
Yeah, we'll have to come back on. So congratulations, Elliot, if you're watching this. We'll have to get you back on to talk about it. I'm sure you're very happy. Let's now quickly cut to this story here, and this will get Tesla fans excited. Look at this. So, spotted in New Zealand coming off a Singapore Airlines flight, I think. Or maybe not Singapore
Yeah,
Airlines. There's SIA in front of it, but I mean, gents, Cybertruck, right?
that's sweet as, bro.
Unmistakably Cybertruck. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think people are like, oh, what's under the wraps? I mean, you look at that form, you look at that. It's like, yep, there's a Cybertruck. But I mean, don't want to dash people's hopes. But I think it's just winter testing in New Zealand. Probably a left-hand drive, which they do on a regular basis. They've had Model X's, Model S's, and other car manufacturers as well, like Range Rover and the German sort of cars coming and range test in winter test in New Zealand as well.
Yeah. So let me make that bigger for everyone to see. Yes, and Ray says, but the flight came out of Melbourne.
Sorry, Ray. I've let everyone down. My runners are worn out now. So unless Tesla wants to sponsor me, I couldn't catch it. The Cybertruck was just too fast.
Come on,
Riz,
Riz.
tell-
You needed to do a Tom Cruise Mission Impossible stunt where you were holding on to the edge of the plane.
Oh, jeez.
Jumping between buildings. But Riz, tell the truth. You were in the Gold Coast, weren't you? That's why you missed it.
I was up there at SeaWorld, Dreamworld, and Wet and Wild everywhere.
It was wet and wild here in New Zealand. Look at that. Very wet. Let's chat about more Tesla news now. And I believe, let's look at this thread here from Tesla Scope. So this is quite interesting, actually. We've been chatting a lot about the Highland, the Model 3 redo or the refresh. And Tesla Scope, actually, the account Tesla Scope went through some information today. So let's go through some of the highlights. Complete overhaul, yes, major refresh, but stuff also to the interior. So steer-by-wire yoke and matrix LEDs on all trims, redesigned RGB ambient lights, more modern feel. So new lights. What else have we got? Yeah, just a more modern feel. Rear screen has been experimented with. There we go. So there is some truth to the Highland rumors, I guess, Riz and Rahul. We've been sort of wondering whether there's any confirmation. I know Tesla Scope's not officially Tesla, but they do. They're pretty good with their information usually.
And I think that tweet thread also mentioned that this Highland refresh might be getting HW4
Yep.
Cameras as well.
Yep. HEPA filter too, possibly. So quite a few things getting into the refresh potentially. Better ride comfort, reduced vibrations. So yeah, I mean, we don't know.
Better interior speakers, better interior, better exterior, RGB matrix headlights. A lot of bang for your buck, and significantly, I think the important thing was they're looking at keeping the pricing the same rather than this being more expensive.
Yeah, no, this is great. We can trust Tesla to do that to try and keep costs down. They say some say 1 to 3 months, some say later this year, some say Q1 2024, which means no one knows. But yeah, look, there's certainly more smoke, more fire to what could be one of the biggest releases in late this year or early next year. We shall see. Riz, you got any more with your running shoes?
Yeah. Look, I think the only thing is if this is going to be delayed, or if it comes after the Cybertruck, a lot of the features that we may see in the Cybertruck may form part of the refresh. Not obviously the exterior design, but I mean more like, the interior and the kind of features that they're putting in there. Steer-by-wire, yes, front bumper camera, potentially. So it'd be interesting to see what that Cybertruck launch and event looks like and what that product is like. And yeah, maybe the whole clearing out of Model 3 inventory was just because they just couldn't sell enough. So it's not the refresh, because that may be 6 months away.
Okay, let's put on this video here. And what's happening here? Audience playing at home. I'm not sure you can hear the audio or not, but
No.
you can probably
Is this
guess. Maybe.
is this in India?
That's right, Rahul. It is in India. So apparently, Tesla, well, Elon has confirmed that Tesla is looking to invest in India and says he's visiting next year. There we go.
Hmm.
It's good news. Another gigafactory there.
Well, hopefully more energy storage stuff because as from what I understand, there's a lot of need for solar and energy storage in all over the world, but particularly in India. And I think he also mentioned that Starlink may be heading to certain communities where they don't have internet access at the moment. So that in itself is very positive, and eventually the vehicles as well. So yeah, good to see.
Yep. Good to see they're expanding. Australia, we're still waiting for you guys, Tesla, to come over.
Gigagong.
We've Gigagong. That's right. There's room down south. Oh, south for us in Sydney, anyway. What else can we talk about? I think Riz, you touched a bit on the Abarth.
Yes.
I think.
The Fiat
The Fiat.
500.
Yes. Let me find that story. Here we go. Yep. Oops, sorry. Wrong button. That one. Fiat now taking pre-orders on its first electrified model in Australia, the Fiat 500e.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. It was supposed to land in dealerships by sort of this time around June, July. So hopefully we'll see a couple. They do look pretty cool. 42 kilowatt hour battery, so smaller than what the base model Dolphin has, which starts, as we said, 38,890. This one will start at 52,500 plus on roads. So just as a bit of a comparison, that it's about, what is it, $15,000 more for a car with a smaller battery and lower range than the base model Dolphin. And it's smaller in dimensions as well, of course, being the Fiat 500.
Well, see that's the real war, isn't it? We were talking about this earlier. Like the European brands, and then versus the Chinese brands who are undercutting by, we're talking like $20,000 here. This is where it's happening. I know it's a premium brand Fiat, but that's quite a big disparity there between the two, or between the three.
Yeah, they did send me an email and it said something like "Ciao Rizz," being Italian. It's open for pre-orders, and that's exactly what the email read. It was like, "Ciao Rizz, our Fiat 500e, the first electrified model, is available in Australia for pre-ordering now." I mean, they are cool, and I'm a bit of a sucker for smaller cars, but at 52,000, I think the Dolphin is money better spent, given the equipment that I think some of us have seen what that car has, and it's also on the website, including things like moonroof and some of the safety features. It's a lot of car. I know it's a little bit slower with its smaller 70 kilowatt motor, but I think test driving one will sort of get to see what it's really like. And yeah, it's Dolphin versus the Fiat.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to testing the 0 to 100 in 12.3 seconds, Riz, Rahul, for the BYD Dolphin Dynamic. Obviously, having driven an EV for so long, you're kind of used to being a traffic light beater, but yeah, might have to take it easy.
I think it'd be interesting to see what the 0 to 50 kilometer an hour, because in inner city stuff, that's what matters. But yeah, I wonder if it will beat most of the Commodores, but we'll find out.
Yeah. I have to get my race box out and test that for you guys.
Draggy.
Riz, one question for you. I mean, are you confused why the Fiat's coming as well as the Abarth, or is that okay?
Abarth has always sort of been their more performance orientated brand, so angrier looking thing. And they do look like cool, especially the ICE versions have always been angrier, louder exhaust pipes and all the rest of it. But I think it's sports cars. This is more of a warm hatch, if you want to call it that. And I think the Abarth is more of a angrier, sort of hot hatch territory. So that's the sort of key difference. But I mean, Mercedes has been doing it for a while with their standard cars and AMGs, and same with BMW with their M series as well. So yeah, it's just separate brands, and haven't really been amalgamated like Mercedes with Mercedes AMG. Fiat sort of still keeps the Fiat, and then they keep the Abarth brand as the more performance variants.
I see. A bit like Polestar used to be the performance arm of Volvo, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm still looking forward to a hot hatch. I mean, the Cupra was warmish. We'll see what the Fiat and the Abarth can do. Let's have a look at this now, Rahul. I think you posted this one this week. This is the Canoe.
Yeah, I didn't. I think I have been following these guys on Twitter. Haven't heard a whole lot from them, and to be honest, I didn't quite sort of have a detailed look into this, but I quickly clicked on their website. Yeah, kind of like a people carrier MPV, but looks amazing. The fact that they won the Eye for Design sort of award as well, for new design as well. Yeah, you know, it would appeal to families, people taking sort of longer trips, wanting to sort of go on, you know, sort of caravan trips or whatever, all those sorts of things as well. But yeah, what are your thoughts, gents, on this one? I quite like it.
I'm just trying to get my head around this vehicle. I mean, are we looking at the front of the car or the back of the car here?
That was my question exactly. What is it?
I mean, I love it, but I just can't tell what's what.
I think that's the front, because in America you're supposed to have those orange indicator things, those reflectors.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, and it's got is it still called suicide doors? They open backwards. I don't know what they call now with the doors opening this way. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's very bubbly, very smooth at the front. Is it? I'm just trying to pick the size as well. Are we looking at like a Staria, Hyundai Staria type of van thing, or is it smaller?
I think it probably is sort of that Staria, maybe not as not as high. The height might be lower, given, I mean, that gentleman looks like he's quite tall with the kid, but yeah, I think it would be a bit lower than the Staria, more like maybe a Honda Odyssey.
Oh, okay. Yep, like a little MPV, people mover. Gaffer says he likes it. It looks distinctive and it's modular, so you can make it into different configs for the work you want to put to it. Oh, cool. Yeah, right. Is it coming to Oz? Yeah, you know, I'd love it to, but it's always hard with these things.
And how does it go in a lake?
A canoe, I gotcha. Okay. Nice. Okay. Canoe.com, everyone. Go check it out. Yeah, it looks cool though. Obviously, you're good for the outdoors, right? Good for camping, I guess. Fit a few people in there, potentially. Yeah, people want production updates. So is this obviously still like a prototype, right? It's the design thing. Yeah, it's cool. And look at the interior too. You can sort of see a little screen there. Something's going on here. Is that the steering wheel? Don't know. Or just a big bar. Yeah, funky. Nice. Thanks, Rahul, for sharing that. Gents, any other news do we want to chat about this week?
The MG4, I think it's the all-wheel drive version, the performance hot hatch. I guess maybe, what would you call that? Not a hot hatch, it's sort of a hybrid hatch. 0 to Tommy on mute.
Is that the X Power?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, let's find it. All right, let's pop this up here. MG4 X Power. That's a lot of horsepower there, 429. Electric hot hatch, 36,000 pounds. So what, 55,000? No, probably more, 60,000.
60,000, yeah.
Yeah.
So Cupra born money.
Yeah, that's right. Model 3 money.
Yeah, that's right.
Twin motor, all-wheel drive, 330 kilowatts of power, 4 seconds 0 to 62, which is 100. Yeah, nice.
I think what would be interesting to see is if they've done much work on the software on the inside. And I think that's what lets a lot of these type of vehicles down. Cupra Born's a really good car. Don't get me wrong, it's fun. It's all of those things that you would expect from a warm to a hot hatch, but the software inside lets it down. MG software is okay, but I think the BYD does a little bit of a better job at that software end because it's just an Android sort of a tablet type of a setup, which a lot of us are used to with the smartphones, and it's relatively well integrated, sort of like the Polestar with Android Automotive to a certain degree, but that Android Automotive is more refined. So it would be interesting to see if you're spending $60,000, and if you've been in a Tesla before, you know what you get in terms of software. It's hard to spend 60,000 on a car like this if the software is going to be similar to the current ZS EV.
Yeah, that's right. I agree, Riz. I've driven the ZS2. The software, yeah, like I said, it's okay, but it kind of leaves you wanting more, doesn't it? Whereas the BYD, you get over-the-air updates at home, which is obviously a big benefit. Whereas the MG, I think you got to bring the car in each time. So hopefully with the MG4, I don't know what it's like overseas, but it'd be great to have over-the-air updates as well. I know also I've just released a video comparing the BYD Dolphin and the MG4. One big benefit that the MG4 has is Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Now BYD has only just confirmed Apple CarPlay for Dolphin at this stage. It hasn't confirmed Android Auto yet, even though the BYD Atto 3 has got both now with the software update. Riz, have you heard any more about that?
No, they only, even in New Zealand, the specs there showcase Apple CarPlay only. To a certain degree, you can get away without it having Android Auto at the moment, because remember, Tom, when these cars first arrived in Australia, sort of August last year, when you did your first videos with them, they did not have any navigation. They did not have Spotify. And then the next time I sat into one in sort of October-ish, they had those two. So it didn't need Android Auto as much because you sort of had that ability. But if you've got CarPlay, then Android Auto shouldn't be too far either. But I think by the time these cars get here, which I think they said September, October for the first customer deliveries, I wouldn't be surprised if it's preloaded at the experience center before customers pick the cars up.
Yeah. I do like the fact that Android Auto is wireless in the BYDs, whereas it's wired for the Apple CarPlay. It's a nice little distinction. Question for Rahul. Ray asks, have you heard about a Kia Stinger EV? That'd be cool. Anyone heard of rumor? Nope. Okay.
No, I haven't heard about this. So, yeah. But I'll look into it, Ray. Thank you for letting us know.
We'll do our homework.
Just on the quickly, people reckon that the seal is roughly as long as a Stinger. So it is longer than the Model 3. I'm not sure what that means in terms of practical interior space and the rest of it until we get to test drive one. But yeah, that may be the closest thing to a Stinger that we will get. Even the last couple of customers ordering the Stinger had to wait over 12 months to get deliveries of their cars and stuff. So I don't think Kia's in any rush to make one, but I may be wrong because Hyundai and Kia have announced, I don't know, tens of billions of dollars between now and 2030, including development of a brand new electric modular platform as well. So you never know what they come out with.
Never know. Jez is asking me, any thoughts on the new Rolls-Royce Spectre? Am I going to test drive? Some suggestions on how I can convince them to loan me a car, gents and ladies in the chat.
I think with Jez's funds for the garage, if you sort of say to them that you have as much space in your garage as your local Westfields, they'll lend you one.
Yeah, I better buy a new suit. That might help as well. Maybe a manservant. Can we even call them that? Someone needs to be carrying my bags for me. A butler, yes, a
Absolutely.
butler. We'll try, Jez. We'll try. And yes, thank you, Ray. Remind everyone to hit the like and complete the poll. Oh, yes, I forgot about the poll. My goodness, completely forgot. Yeah, today's poll before you end up in the stream. Which car do you prefer, BYD Dolphin Dynamic or the MG4 Excite 51? Looks like the MG is winning. 67% of people are saying that versus 33 for the BYD. So that's really interesting, actually. Certainly MG4, I think, looks better on paper, but without having driven either, I don't want to make that final call yet. So yes, everyone vote now before we close it. Thank you, Ray, for the reminder. Adrian asks, I wonder if BYD offered that disjointed warranty on the Dolphin like they did on the Atto 3, whereas MG is 7 years. That's very, very true. I did that comparison video, so check that out after you finish this stream. At the moment, I think it was reported that it's a 6-year, 150,000 kilometer warranty and an 8-year battery warranty of 160,000. Whereas you're right, MG4 has a 7-year unlimited warranty, which is pretty good for an EV, really. It's great. And a question from Tazzy1. EV1, did you get into the Dolphin yesterday later on, particularly the premium edition they unveiled? Any future videos if coming? Yes, I've got all the raw footage, so stay tuned. I didn't get into the car on stage or at the front, but I did have a look at the other one with all the dry ice around, fogging it up. So yeah, stay tuned. I'll edit that this weekend. Gents, I think we might cut it short today, given we had a big night last night, all of us. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone who watched today. And if you're watching on replay, make sure you leave a comment as well. And if you're listening on audio podcast, thanks so much for listening today. Rizz and Rahul, thank you so much for joining us. Rahul, thank you once again for last night, all your efforts. Thank you.
Most welcome.
And Rizz, thank you so much again for helping me out last night on the Gold Coast.
Anytime. I think it was good fun. A bit of an adventure walking to the back, but it's good to see a lot of viewers getting a lot of value out of the content that you produce, Tom. And Rahul, thanks for amazing sort of engagement and, keeping everyone entertained while we had potential connection issues at certain stages, but it was very cool. So yeah, thanks, Tom. Thanks, Rahul. Thanks everyone for joining us on that little adventure.
Yeah, that was great. And I was glad that we had at least 2 bars the whole time of cell reception. And hopefully it wasn't too choppy and the audio came through most of the time. So thanks, everyone. And special shout out to my wife, Joy, too, for helping me last night with the production, too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. That's all for tonight. We shall see you. Actually, no, next week we will be off. I'm on holidays, but a week after that, we'll be back with a special guest. Hopefully, I'm just trying to get the final details, but it'll be a good stream, I think, if we can get that guest on. All right, everyone, thanks so much for watching. Thanks, Rizz. Thanks, Rahul. Thanks, everyone. Until next week, next time, it's happy charging from me and Rahul and Rizz. Thanks, everyone. Bye now.